law, litigation, court cases, the judicial justice system, right? All this stuff, if I had to compare it to anything, it'd be like gonorrhea. The clap. Nobody wants gonorrhea. Nobody wants the clap. Just kind of sucks. And that's the legal system that we're currently dealing with here in the United States. Now, check this out. Court dismisses suit claiming Robinhood Citadel prevented meme stock trading. The district judge who presided over that case, her name was Ceclia Antonaga. And the thing that's pretty interesting about her is she's had a couple of decently notable court cases that have recently taken place. And I've pulled up two different sources that talk about these specific court cases and why I find her specific mannerisms to be a pattern. Now, this is not an allegation. I'm not here to say that what she did to choose the outcome was right or wrong. Ultimately, that's her job. What I am telling you is there are some very obvious patterns that are taking place here. Now, this first one to me is actually quite comical. This is things that might get you thrown off a case. Drawing dick pics during depositions at Dunkin' Donuts. Now, I really I feel like this should probably be a joke, but I don't think that it is. This was on May 17th, 2012. There were two parties obviously involved with this specific deposition, and one of them decided that they wanted to draw dick pics at Dunkin' Donuts in between the different hearings that were taking place. You can read that right here. When it comes to the madness that ensues during the deposition process, we really thought we had seen it all. We've seen witnesses curse at the questioners, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, when attorneys in Florida get bored during depositions, they turn to their artistic side to get their creative juices a-flowing, because there's nothing like a great dick pic to bring your attention back to the case at hand. Let's list the main players before we dig in. Richard Seller and Stacy Schulman are attorneys with Morgan & Morgan, a firm attempts referred to as a Florida giant. Apparently, the behavior was too much for opposing counsel Jason Kupel to handle, because he complained to the court that they had systemically engaged in inappropriate and offensive behavior. This was a case that was dismissed by the judge, Cecilia. And the reasoning behind that was specifically this: drawing dick pics during depositions at Dunkin' Donuts. Now, is that obviously unprofessional, right? Should you be drawing dick pics at a Dunkin' Donuts? Well, probably not. I mean, I guess at one point or another, we were all freaking 12-year-old kids sitting in math class with nothing better to do than practice our cursive signature and draw dick pics on a notebook, right? But if you're a lawyer, probably not. This is not something you should do. You shouldn't do this as an attorney, obviously. But does that mean you should overstep the process of the justice system? Should you be able to skip through the step-by-step process of what it looks like to complete a court case? I don't think so, right? If you don't like somebody, you think they're unprofessional, you think the attorney's unprofessional, ultimately what matters is what you're presenting at the case. Do you believe that you have a case? Look at the facts, right? No, that's outside of the point. Whatever she decided for this outcome, this is more of a funny sort of situation, but this is one of the two notable court cases that this judge has handled in the previous 10 years. This one's actually pretty fascinating, and this is a little controversial. Judge slashes SEC's proposed fine for ex-Miami budget director. And this one is interesting to me because it's a very similar situation to what we saw recently with the Citadel case. In the Citadel case, my friends, essentially what you had brought forward is, yes, some of this activity looks suspicious. These conversations between Robinhood and Citadel look suspicious. But, you know, as we know, Citadel came forward and said, hey, we have this tweeted out, by the way, proof that we haven't done that. We also have the SEC coming out and saying, look, doesn't look like we have any evidence. And that was used during the court case. They said, look, we're backed by the SEC. They said they didn't find shit, right? We don't know much. But here we have a similar situation that took place back in 2016. A federal judge has rejected the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's request for a record $450,000 penalty against the former Miami budget director found liable for misleading municipal bond investors, fining the man $15,000 instead of $450,000. Now, this is the SEC, guys. The SEC, the freaking sleeping giant who goes and makes extra sure that they're digging into details and they understand the entire picture before they bring something forward. Guys, we have the freaking buy button being taken away in January for multiple stocks across the board. We had multi-$100 million theft, billion-dollar theft that took place right underneath our noses. And that's not even been cracked down on yet. So if this came back here in 2016, this freaking huge ordeal with this ex-Miami director, right? And the SEC is spearheading this. They decided they want to be in on it. It's probably for a reason. It's probably for a reason. We got this basically rejected. It was shut down. And the reasoning for it was pretty simple. Through a jury found Boudreaux acted with severe recklessness. He did not gain financially from his conduct, Antonaga said. So essentially, if you're running a scam, but you don't make money, right? It doesn't matter that you ran a scam because you didn't make money, apparently, right? You can't be at fault if you didn't make money. This is really what I'm seeing here. Guys, look. It didn't work. It didn't work. I didn't make money on this. I didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't matter. Apparently. So check this out. Adding to the fine the SEC was seeking appeared overreaching and punitive. So the jury, the judge, the entire case was thrown out the window. This guy got away with a $15,000 fine instead of the full pressure of a $450,000 penalty, which I still think is lowball, right? These guys make good money. If you're misleading investors, even if it's just bond investors, right? If you're misleading, if that's the level you're stooping to, bonds, which are historically speaking, not great returns comparatively to a lot of other things that can be traded, a lot of other things that can be bought, such as real estate, such as stocks, penny stocks, whatever. If you're misleading bond investors, fucking how desperate. I mean, this just seems like it's lying right in front of your face. And this was also shut down. So this is two patterns, right? This is a pattern. I tweeted out about this on my Twitter. Judge Cecilia Antonaga, the judge for the Citadel case, had two other notable financial cases before taking on Citadel. Both ended in disqualification and rejection. Now, another thing that's pretty interesting to me is I'm not the first person to make these connections, right? This is not a accredited, a very super verified news source, but this is a guy with an opinion, and this opinion came back in 2016. And what I found to be interesting in this is right here. By law, Kornick was supposed to step down, and the Kesha case would have automatically been assigned to another judge without a conflict of interest in the matter. And this is referring to the judge at hand, which was Cecilia Antonaga, right? Now check this out. Crooked judge illegally presided over and throughout Kesha rape case against Dr. Luke due to blaring conflict of interest via husband working for Sony Music. And that comes in the form of a specific firm, which is Holland & Knight, as you can see right here. Now I'm going to read on. After I formally requested Antonaga's recusal from the case via a court motion I filed, she was forced to admit in writing regarding the Sony stock given to her daughter, which she had hidden. Judge Antonaga also concealed the fact her husband, George Mencio, works for the law firm Holland & Knight, whom Sony Music retained for a significant amount of money. Antonaga knew she never should have been on the case, but obstinately remained and completely corrupted it, violating my legal rights in a life or death matter. Now, what is the most interesting about this, right? You don't even need for her husband to have been working for Holland & Knight during the situation with Citadel, right? You don't have to have been related to the case. Simply the presence. Simply the fact that you have somebody that could be a conflict of interest. Oh, they were on the same case, right? It can't be a scam if I don't make money. It can't be wrong if they're not actually physically involved. But that's what you see playing out here, right? People like this fuck up the judicial system. They're messing with the justice system. I mean, I really do think, and I do think it was going to happen, but I just want to point this out to you because I have talked about this previously, and I just decided to dig up a little more, right? I don't think this sort of thing should happen. I think this should be refiled, and the judge who's assigned to that should be thoroughly investigated ahead of time. I mean, these plaintiff lawyers should really be looking into, along with just us as people, right? We can look into this sort of thing and have an idea of what's going to take place, but these are things that need to be publicly announced and are not announced for a specific reason, and it's because sometimes the game's not fair from the start, you know? What do we got to do? What do we do as regular everyday people, right? We talk about it, and then hopefully enough people make noise that this sort of thing can't happen. Where you have this obvious prejudice, this obvious bias, where you have a person who, for whatever reason or another, just decides that they'd like to protect big money. That's what I've got for this video. This is an interesting situation. I think that Cecilia Antonaga was probably not the best judge for this. I think this does not necessarily prove innocence nor guilt. I think it was a waste of time. I don't think this is the judge or the situation that we need to play out in front of our faces for this Citadel and Robinhood hearing, and I don't think that's the end of the story. I think it's a hiccup, and I think you're going to see more come out. That's what I've got for you guys. Much love, Light Taps. Peace.